What is up again, bros and broettes? We are back at it again today with another leg day video, which is going to be a bit more compound focused leg day. 2 compound movements, 2 isolations, and 2 calf movements. And we're going to start things off with the seated hamstring curl, a warm-up set from 85 to 115 pounds, 2 to 3 sets, 12 to 15 reps. And when you're doing this exercise, you want to make sure that everything is secured properly. There's no spaces in between where your legs are. The pad is just above your knee, and then for the padding a bit under your calf muscles. And we're going to do nice controlled slow movements. We're just going to pump blood into the muscle over the next couple of sets to prevent any type of future injuries with the compound movements. So here's just another view from the back just to see how I set things up. Padding is just under my calf muscles, and then the top padding is just above my knees. Everything's secure, nothing's moving, and you can grab onto the top handles for support, or you can grab onto the seating, which I like preferably doing myself. And we're going to control the movement down, and we're going to hold it and squeeze and bring it up nice and slow. We're not going to let the weights touch. We're going to bring it nice and slow up to almost full extension, and then we're going to curl it back down and squeeze it with a nice tight squeeze. So now we're going to do a working set, 130 pounds, 1 set, 7 to 12 reps. And as you can see, I'm controlling the weight nice and slow, not letting the weight smash together, and giving it a nice tight squeeze at the bottom. A lot of people don't squeeze at the bottom, they kind of just go through the motion really quick. We're on to our second working set, 140 pounds, 1 set, 7 to 12 reps. And as you can see, I am just grabbing the bottom seat for support, as opposed to grabbing the handles. I just find it just more better this way for me. So we're going to finish things off with our final set. It's going to be a drop set, 160 pounds, 7 to 10 reps, down to 100, and then down to 75 to failure. And as you can see, things are getting really heavy. It's hard to squeeze at the bottom, but I'm going to try as much as I can, and I'm going to fail there. And we're going to incorporate an intensity technique called a drop set. I could push myself to get a few more reps. Instead, I'd rather just drop the weight down for more intensity. So it's just another way of incorporating another intensity technique into the workout. And you essentially want to do this to recruit more muscle fibers, and there's many other ways to do it. I personally like doing drop sets. And this way, as I'm dropping down the weight, it does get a little bit lighter, so I'm able to squeeze at the bottom. So we're going to work on our hip abductor muscles, and we're going to do a warm-up / working set, 30 to 115 pounds, 2 to 3 sets, 12 to 15 reps. And I personally like leaning forward as much as you can, because it's going to help engage the hip abductors a lot more so than having your back leaned against the pad. It's going to add more resistance. So I highly recommend leaning forward to engage more of the hip abductors. And we're just going to try to warm up as quickly as possible. So I'm just going to increase the weight and keep increasing the reps until I get tired. or until failure, I should say. So we're going to do a final set, 120 pounds, one set, 7 to 10 reps. And you want to try to hold at the top as much as possible and then slowly lower the weight down. Give it a nice good squeeze at the top. So we're going to be going into our first compound exercise, which is the hack squat. And we're going to do a warm-up set of 90 pounds, 1 to 2 sets, 7 to 10 reps. You could also warm up without any weight on the machine, but my legs are pretty warmed up from doing the hamstring curls. And with your mobility, you want to be able to go as low as possible. You want to go full range of motion down to the bottom. If your mobility doesn't allow that, at least go parallel from your hip to your knee. That's parallel. But if you can go all the way down to the bottom, that's probably the best stretch you can get for the legs on this exercise. So now we're going to get into our first working set, 180 pounds, one set, 7 to 10 reps. And I'm just controlling the weight, nice and slow, going down and hitting the bottom. And it's going to give me a nice deep stretch. Now we're going to get into our second working set, 180 pounds, one set, 7 to 10 reps. And then we're going to go into another third working set, 210 pounds, one set, 5 to 10 reps. And if you watch my feet placement, they're down lower up to the bottom of the pad or platform. And they're close, but they're not straight. My toes are slightly pointed out. This helps ease more of the pain in my knees than having my feet just straight. And if you have your feet closer to the platform at the bottom, it helps for your range of motion to go lower as possible than it would be at the top of the platform. So we're going to finish things off with the final set, 230 pounds, one set, 5 to 10 reps. And we are not extending our legs fully at the top, we're having it just before full extension. So that way all that weight doesn't transfer into the knees, which can cause knee problems or knee injuries over time. And we were just controlling the weight nice and slow, hitting the bottom and bringing it all the way back up. We're going to go straight into our second compound exercise, which is the V squat machine. And we're going to do a warm-up set, 90 pounds, one set, 10 to 12 reps. And we're just going to go through the range of motion just to help with the line of path of the exercise. So I'm just going to parallel. If you can go below parallel, that's fine. I'm going to parallel because I find that if I go under parallel, my knees start to hurt a bit more. So I'm just keeping it at parallel. I'm keeping the tension on the quads, and parallel is just fine for me. But if you can go lower with your mobility, you should go lower. So we're going to get into our working set, 180 pounds, 1 set, 7 to 10 reps. Again, with this exercise, you do not want to go full extension at the top. You want to have a slight bend in the knees. Therefore, it doesn't transfer all that weight onto your knees. And so we're going to do a final set, 210 pounds, 1 set, 7 to 10 reps. You want to make sure your lower back is pushed against the pad for this exercise and for the hack squat machine. You do not want to space where your lower back is. You want to be able to make sure if you stick a hand where your lower back is, it cannot get through. So make sure you're not arching during these leg exercises for your lower back. And this exercise pretty much made me done in the legs. I could barely walk after this exercise. So we're gonna go to my go-to calf machine exercise, seated calf raises, a warm-up set / working set, 25 to 40 pounds, 3 to 4 sets, 12 to 15 reps. I usually don't go very heavy when it comes to the seated calf machine. I like going through the full range of motion. I like squeezing at the top, and I like stretching down at the bottoms, having my heels almost hit the floor. And with this, I don't like to go heavy. I just like to go time under tension. A lot of people will just rush this workout, get to the top, and then bring it down, drop to the bottom. You want to go nice, slow, and controlled, time under tension. Have a deep stretch where have your heels try to touch the bottom and get to the top of the toes. So we're going to do a standing calf machine, a warm-up set / working set, 170 pounds to 210 pounds, 3 to 4 sets, 7 to 10 reps. And this machine is where I usually like to go really heavy on it, because it allows me to increase the weight over time. So the concept here is still the same. You want to try to get your heels to touch the floor for a deep stretch, and you want to get on top of your tippy toes for that deep squeeze at the top. And we're going to have a finish or final set between 230 pounds to 250, 2 sets, 7 to 10 reps, but I'm going to finish it off at 250. So we're going to do our final exercise of the night, which is the hip thrust machine, a warm-up set on the way to a working set, 90 pounds to 180 pounds, 2 sets, 7 to 10 reps. I actually did just 1 plate on each side as a warm-up set, and now I'm kind of doing a feeler set to see how much weight I could do for the next few sets. So I kind of got a good idea of how much weight I can do. And we are going to do a working set of 270 pounds, 1 set, 5 to 10 reps. And we're going to have our feet lower to the platform. It's going to help with our range of motion to extend our hip thrust up. So I thought I'd try a new PR tonight, And we're gonna do a final set, 360 pounds, one set, 5 to 10 reps. But we're also gonna incorporate 2 intensity techniques to finish things off after this. So that weight was pretty heavy, so I could have done a little bit more, but instead I wanted to incorporate a drop set. And we're just going to do a drop set until failure for each plate. So we're going to drop set 270 pounds till failure. And you want to make sure you're going full range of motion. The butt has to hit the pad. So the next drop set is 180 pounds till failure. You want to make sure you're keeping your head neutral throughout the motion. You just want to look straight ahead. You don't want to have your neck arched up the whole time. And we're going to do our final drop set, 90 pounds till failure. And then we're going to incorporate another intensity technique called partials. And we're just going to go halfway or partial of the way. And then we're going to do another intensity technique, isometric holds, and we're going to hold it at the top for as long as possible. And that is the end of the exercise, and that is exhausting.